Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, we got a video by Nonstop Sports titled The 10 Most Underrated Players in 2022. You know, obviously for the NBA here. I guess it's not obvious, but you see Shaq and you see Ryan Hollinsman and you see LeBron James and stuff. So yeah, it's basketball related. But I will say, let me know in the comment section below. Before we watch this video, who do you think is the most underrated player? I got two. I think Pascal Siakam's extremely underrated, and I think Desmond Bane is my most underrated NBA player. I think that Ja Morant, how fantastic he is, I think he gets a lot of credit for the Grizzlies success and stuff, but I think Desmond Bane and him being the 30th pick in the draft a few seasons ago, and just the player he's become so quickly, has also been a huge factor. I think you can see that by looking at the Grizzlies' record without Ja Morant in the lineup. It's obviously they're still very sustainable, man. I think a lot of that is because of guys like Desmond Bane. So let's go ahead and check this out and see what it's all about.
If every sports media outlet has 23 hours of the day reserved for LeBron coverage, that doesn't leave much time for anyone else. This is the list of
Definitely
players
not.
who are playing great basketball, but not getting the love they deserve. The NBA's
goes
most
Desmond.
underrated players of 2022. Robert Williams III. When it comes to becoming an NBA
solid
player,
choice.
Robert Williams has won the genetic lottery, standing at 6'10" and 240 pounds, with a pterodactyl 7'5" wingspan.
I'm damn
and
5'8",
99th
240, so
percentile explosiveness and mobility. Williams has the perfect attributes for a modern big.
Halfway there.
It's mind-boggling to see someone of his size to run, jump, and move laterally as quickly and efficiently as he does. But even though he was a two-time SEC Defensive Player of the Year in college, multiple knee injuries,
He's like
and a complete
DeAndre
lack of outside
Jordan
shot
with
had
Bam
Williams slide
mobility.
all the way to the 27th
great.
overall pick in the 2018 NBA draft. To add insult to injury, Williams was also quite unprofessional at times. Because he was always late to everything, the Celtics nicknamed him the Time Lord. Due to his immaturity and lack of offensive game, Robert barely played in his first 3 seasons. However, in 2022, things completely turned around for the Time Lord. He started playing regularly, and the Celtics coach Ime Udoka maximized Robert's mobility by positioning him at the dunker spots as the weak side defender. This enables Williams to guard the corner 3 and switch on to penetrating guards at the rim,
Damn,
similar
shit
to
out
what
of there,
Giannis
man.
does for the Bucks. During one possession, Robert can switch
He'll get Defensive Player of the
and
Year.
cover all 5 players due to his quickness, size, and enormous wingspan. Time Lord has the best defensive rating in the entire NBA, and when he's the closest defender, opponents shoot less than 36%. If he didn't get hurt towards the end of the season, Williams would be in contention for Defensive Player of the Year.
Which is crazy to think about because the little defensive player of the year is also on the Boston Celtics, which is why they were the top defense team in the NBA. Makes sense, right?
Offensively, Robert
Got
is
the
a
perimeter.
vastly
Ooh,
improved passer,
that
decision-maker,
pass.
and one of the most dangerous lob threats in the league. If you didn't know him by now, pay attention.
Yeah, I want him in
Williams
Detroit.
will become a household name in the NBA. Dejounte Murray. If any NBA All-Star can walk freely on the street without getting recognized, it's Dejounte Murray. Okay, in San Antonio, I'm sure that people stop Murray and take
He's pretty
selfies
damn
with
tall,
him.
yeah.
He's on the road. To most people, he's probably just some tall dude with freakishly long arms.
Which is fair, and I guess I don't go up to every single tall person and be like, hey, you're in the NBA, or athlete or whatnot. Let's take a picture. So, okay, that's fair to say.
Those arms and his 6'10" wingspan to lead the NBA in steals and deflections. But that's just one side of his game. The Spurs point guard is close to averaging a triple-double with 21 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 9.3 assists per game. Without Murray,
He's a
in the
composed
lineup, Spurs
Russell
offense
Westbrook
is so
with
stagnant
defense.
that it flows slower than the San Antonio Riverwalk. Murray is an all-star and easily one of the best point guards in the NBA, but he rarely ever gets mentioned by the mainstream media. But that's not unusual for the Spurs and their unflashy ways. They always have players who flew under the radar. Tim Duncan has done it for 2 decades. Beyond Murray, we also have to mention Jakob Poeltl, the Austrian big man, whose name is hard to pronounce.
Yeah, they gonna get Jalen
The
Duren,
Spurs'
though. He gonna be on the
second-best
bench.
player, and another reason why the Spurs are not at the bottom of the standings. He protects the rim as well as any 7-footer not named Rudy Gobert or Joel Embiid, and he's leading the NBA in contested shots.
A great
Poeltl
player,
is extremely
call
efficient
like it
around
is,
the rim,
but
and he is second in the NBA in screen assists, making him extremely valuable for the San Antonio offense.
Wasn't Jakob?
Jared Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Jakob was in. Jared Vanderbilt's a good choice right there. Great, two-way player. Wasn't a Jakob? He was on the Raptors originally, right? And then traded away. Because they could use Jakob on the Raptors again.
We would have put Jared Vanderbilt on the thumbnail if only people knew who he was. There are 14
Hey, I'll do
Wolves
it.
players that
I'll
grab
put him
all
on
the
the thumbnail.
headlines. Their all-star center Karl Anthony Towns, their high-flying youngster Anthony Edwards, the former all-star D'Angelo Russell, and of course Patrick Beverley, who is the loudest and is constantly trash-talking his opponents.
And
But this
CP3.
leaves one man
We
from
hate
Minnesota's
CP3.
starting lineup, largely unnoticed by the general public, and that's Jared. Vando is a fourth-year, 6'9" power forward, and he's a Swiss Army knife who does just about everything for the Wolves. The Wolves play a lot of denial defense.
Yeah, I remember when Robert Covington was on the T-Wolves. He was like fine on the team and everything like that, but I mean, like, I was hoping what Roko would I expect him to be. Like, Jared Vanderbilt is doing that, and I think it's perfect next to Cat.
One-on-one hard pressing and not allowing your man to get the ball. But Vanderbilt plays a denial defense that Dennis Rodman wouldn't be ashamed of, and is among the best ball thieves at his position. Long and athletic, Vando reads the game superbly and is always well positioned. This allows him to play free safety and protect the rim when Cat hedges the pick and roll. Offensively, Vanderbilt does the same glue guy things that he does on defense. He finishes in transition. He grabs offensive boards, and he cuts to the basket hard. If you watch Minnesota's games, it's impossible not to see his impact because he's all over the floor. Vando is the definition of hustle. His energy is infectious and is a big reason why the Wolves have a winning record in 2022. Herbert Jones. New Orleans Pelicans started the 2022 season.
Yeah, him and
16 losses.
The other dude.
Dead last
Forgot his name, the other rook.
Then, the rookie Herb Jones got inserted into the starting lineup, became the unexpected hero, and the Pelicans started winning games. Jones is a 6'7" wing from Alabama, and in 2021, he won SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Many doubted that he would be as effective against NBA offense.
So what are they going to do, though, with him, though? Like, are they going to put Zion at center? It's like this. That's the thing. It's like Herb really, like, showed his potential, and I think, like, he made the most of his moment. But I hope that doesn't get, like, smothered because of Zion being back. You know what I'm saying? Like, next season. Like, I mean, obviously you need, like, a bench and stuff, but still.
Because he was a terrible shooter in college, he slid all the way to the second round of the 2021 draft. But Herb has proved everybody wrong and is arguably the best defensive rookie in the last decade. Athleticism, basketball IQ, timing, and enjoyment to hustle.
That's a title to be given.
Terrorize offensive players are all attributes that make Jones a nightmare for the offensive players. This is even more impressive considering that he guards the best players in the league. In matchup difficulty, Herb ranks 6th in the NBA, which is an achievement in itself.
Damn, he could be like Jonathan Isaac.
Whenever Jones makes a defensive stop, the Pelicans Jumbotron showcases the message, not on Herb, and he is slowly but surely becoming a fan favorite. Jones' shooting and offensive numbers are also exceeding expectations, and New Orleans' point differential goes up by 10
He will be like the perfect power forward role player
when he's on the floor. That's more than what Giannis Antetokounmpo improves the Bucks, and what Joel Embiid improves the 76ers, and they are MVP candidates. It might be too early to say, but we'd be surprised if this guy doesn't win the Defensive Player of the Year award in the future. Jalen Brunson. If he didn't play next to Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson would average all-star numbers. In college, Brunson won 2 NCAA
Take him to Detroit, man.
as a steady point guard who does everything well and rarely makes mistakes. Now in the NBA, he's still doing all those things, averaging a very efficient 16 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and just 1.5 turnovers. But because he plays with Luka, who leads the NBA in usage rate, Brunson's numbers are scaled down. Since Jalen was bred as a system player at Villanova, Brunson is the perfect complementary guard to Luka, and he always knows when to shoot.
He knows how to win, too.
In the
I mean,
games
well,
the Mavs played without Doncic,
you know what I mean.
Brunson averaged 21 points and 7.5 assists per game. Due to Luka's brilliance, Brunson will often stay out of the spotlight, but because he doesn't care,
Brunson is like the prime example of a player that, because you know, like typically in college you can have players that just like don't have like the athleticism. I'm not saying Jalen Brunson don't got athleticism, like he's athletic obviously, but like you get a lot of players that are really smart, have a high basketball IQ, and they can make it to the NBA because they don't have the body to work with. But Jalen Brunson is such a smart, crafty player. He knows how to use his body to his advantage. Like he is like the epitome of that. That's a word, right? Epitome? Yeah. Is it? Okay. Word of the day. Epitome.
and he's a proven winner. He's just the kind of player Dallas needs. Mavs center Dwight Powell has to be mentioned here also. Powell leads the NBA in offensive rating by a wide margin, and he is thriving as a role player in the Luka-centric offense. Ivica Zubac. Some players are criticized for being ball hogs.
We lost that
but
three, man. Damn.
Zubac should actually be more selfish. The Croatian center is 6th in the NBA in true shooting percentage, and in 2021, he led the league in that category. His soft touch around the rim and career 75%
He's the new
shooting
Chris
from the
Kaman.
free throw line suggests
Back
that
from the
he
Clipper
should be
days.
taking more
Better
than
hair, though.
6 shots per game. In January, Zubac scored a career-high 32 points against the Nuggets on a phenomenal 15 of 19 shooting. And we want to see more such games
He's got
from
some
him.
skills,
But Big
doesn't
Zoo
he?
is a role player who understands that he's playing with superstars like Paul George and Kawhi, and that it's his
Not
job
that
to
season,
do all
really.
the dirty work. He sets hard screens, runs the floor well, and cuts hard to the basket. Zubac is also a very good rim protector, who positions extremely well and is averaging 8.5 rebounds in just 24 minutes on the floor.
Very
If he
quality
played on
center.
a bad team and had the green light to take more shots, he'd easily average 18 points and 12 rebounds. His hard and unselfish play goes unnoticed on most nights, but he's playing great, and that's why he's on this list. His teammate Luke Kennard also deserves a mention, shooting 45% from three
Let's go,
for the
man.
season, which leads the NBA. Desmond Bane. When we're talking about
Might be the new
Memphis
thumbnail.
Grizzlies, everybody wants to talk about Ja Morant, and rightfully so. Ja has been brilliant all season, and his acrobatics have provided some of the most spectacular
Oh, I know where this is going.
highlights.
I know where this is
However,
going.
Morant has missed 20 games this season, and the Grizzlies have won 18 of them. That's not a coincidence. Taylor Jenkins' team has been flying on all cylinders even without Morant, with the 5th best offense and the 4th stingiest defense in the NBA. They've done it with an all-around team effort. Steven Adams has been a rock in the middle and is the best offensive rebounder in the NBA. Brandon Clark is one of the most efficient players in the league, while Dylan Brooks puts the clamps on
Yeah, Brandon
everybody
Clark
in
was
the
like
perimeter.
rookie season was fantastic, I believe it was. Then like a second, because this is his 3rd year, I believe, right? And like second year, I think he had some injuries and like he just like fell off a bit, and now he's like back and fantastic.
Jaren Jackson leads the NBA in blocks.
I
and
love
has
Brandon
proven his
Clark, like-
potential as one of the best two-way bigs in the league.
Just like
But if
everything
we have to
about
select
him.
somebody that really surprised us, it would be Desmond Bane, a second-year guard who improved his scoring from 9 to 18.2 points per game, while keeping the same uber-efficient numbers from last year. He's shooting 43% for 3 on 7 attempts per game, which is the 3rd best mark in the league. He's also 6th in free throw percentage, and it was somewhat of a surprise that he didn't win the Most Improved Player award. Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent was rarely mentioned when he played next to Lillard.
Y'all
and
wish you had him
McCollum.
back in,
He's
Portland?
now rarely mentioned on the 2022 Toronto Raptors, a well-coached team who's doing everything by committee. Toronto's rookie Scotty Barnes has been receiving most of the praise thanks to his size and ability to guard opponents' best players. Barnes won the Rookie of the Year award this year, which steals the shine away from other Raptors. Pascal Siakam is a former All-Star who is having a career year in 2022, averaging an
Yeah, people
efficient
want to
42
recognize him, though.
points, along with 8.5 rebounds and 5 assists. He's doing better now than in his All-Star year, and is hardly getting any credit for it. And Gary Trent Jr. is another example of individual performance getting suffocated in team success. A lot of people notice Fred VanVleet as the star of Toronto's backcourt, but Gary Trent has silently been just as good. Gary averages
Yeah, that's like
18
the
points per
like
game.
when you like talk about Toronto Raptor trades to people. A lot of people ignore Gary Trent, and like I think he's like a full-time starter. I mean, obviously, if you have him as like a 6th man, if he could be like a Jordan Clarkson type, that'd be fantastic. But like, you all set with him, man.
On 38% shooting from deep, while being top 5 in the NBA in steals. Terry Rozier. In Boston,
Scary
Terry
Terry.
Rozier earned the nickname Scary Terry,
Yeah.
even though he had some good moments. Rozier could also be scary inefficient, with just 38% shooting from the field in
Yeah.
his final year in Boston.
And then he got a scary contract. Like everybody thought that contract with the Hornets was like an overpay. I'm like, no, like that's like good now. Like,
Many people were surprised when Jordan gave him a big $20 million
Yo,
a year
it's like, I
contract.
should just watch the
But
video.
Terry has been averaging
I should just watch the video.
19, 4 and 4 for the past 3 years, with a much improved efficiency. Before the start of the season, Charlotte extended Rozier. He signed for 4 more years and $100 million. And even though he's definitely in the shadow of the magical LaMelo Ball and high-flying Miles Bridges, Scary Terry is consistently delivering his share of points. You don't normally think of them, but there are moments in life that are greatly underrated, like the moment when your food arrives, or killing a loud mosquito.
What's this
Some other
DoorDash
players
always
we
damn some
don't normally
soggy-ass
think
chicken
of,
nuggets?
But have played great in 2022
I
are
still eat
Wendell
'em,
Carter
though.
Jr. and his efficient 15-10 season in Orlando, Aaron Gordon and Monte Morris in Denver, and Miami's Max Strus.
yeah, I mean, I think like, you know, when it comes to like NBA All-Stars, it's so hard to like say like, okay, who's gonna make the NBA All-Star team? Because there's so many All-Star caliber players, but only so many roster spots. I think the same thing is to be said by like role players and just like those guys that are like the tier under the All-Star. It's like there's so many players stepping up. Like even seeing like Max Strus there and just like what he can do like with the Miami Heat and everything, man. It's like, man, we are in a good place talent-wise. There's a lot of talent. And I'm really happy, you know, even hear about, like, Herb and stuff like that. Because, like, with all that crazy offense, we're going to also need, like, a surplus of, like, defensive stoppers, too, man. So, yeah, I don't know. NBA is fantastic. Absolutely love it. Thank you all so much for watching. And peace out, my friends.